Welcome back to Goatland episode 2 here. Last episode we talked about Tesla, we talked about AMC, we talked about ChargePoint, we talked about Chewy. If you guys would have took any of those bounce levels, especially on Tesla, you would have profited over 1,000% in pure profits. If you would have took that rejection at 1550 on AMC that I spoke of, you would have profited over 500% in pure profit. ChargePoint, if you would have took that bounce up rejection, that bounce support that I told you about last week, you would have profited over 300% in pure profits. So guess what? We're going to get into it today with episode 2. We're going to kick it off with Meta, okay? I'm looking at Meta here, and what's interesting about Meta and why I chose Meta is I see that Meta is currently trading within a channel here. That's why I drew this box here to just signify this channel. One thing that I did like is when I see us retest this channel, this bottom trend of this channel, we always get that pop back to retest the top end of that channel here. So we hit here, we bounced there, we rejected again. We hit here, we bounced again, we rejected again. We came kind of close to it, but bounced again and actually broke through it, which was amazing. And then we just sold off on poor earnings. They had really bad earnings and we kind of sold off, but then we tried to recover here. But at the end of the day, earnings are earnings. And the drop may not happen initially, but it's going to happen overall because of because of the poor earnings, right? So now we're back at the bottom of this channel here, guys. We actually tapped the bottom of this channel and we bounced up yet again. So what I like is that this level here is holding as a very, very strong support, which is 155.14, right? 155.14. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for Meta to actually regain back into this call zone here. So you see I have my green lines, I have my red lines. My green lines is call zones, my red lines is put zones. So what I'm looking for is for Meta to actually get this bounce here and continue this bounce up. I want to see Meta recapture 162.14, and what I would like to see to give me confidence that we can go retest the top of this trend is I want to see my next candle for confirmation start above this 162.14 level, and then we'll go test the 50 fib here at 168.89. If we can take out that 50 fib, which will be almost to the top of that trend line, I do have a confidence level that we can break this channel back to the upside. Also looking at just last week, a lot of stocks kind of captured their 50-day, they kind of captured their 200-day. So looking at Meta compared to other stocks, it's really lagging. Here we still haven't captured the 50-day and we still haven't captured the 200-day. So it's still a lagger on Meta, but like I said, they had poor earnings. So once again, these are my zones for Meta as a high of 183.44 or a low of 137.22. And this is just on a weekly scale, guys, right? I'm looking at it for a weekly scale. So my weekly high for Meta can be 183.44, or if we reject and break down up under this channel here, my low level for Meta is 137.22. So if we break out of this zone here, what I'm looking for to see if we get a bounce at this level here, 154.08, and if we don't get that bounce, in the first target I'm going to get into is the 150 puts, because that'll be my very next level, and then I'll just keep riding it down as it goes. And what I'll do is once we break 150, I'll look for that bouncer at 147.54, and if we do get that bounce, I'll scale out some of my puts and just have runners, because what I'm thinking is we'll come back up to this channel and we'll reject once again, because what once can be strong support, once you break it down, it becomes a stronger resistance. So I have a good confidence that if we do break down under this channel on the retest, we will reject it coming back up, and that'll bring us right back down to at least this fib here at 154, 145.63. So that'll be my target if we do break under 145.63. That'll be my weekly target. But if they really want to make it nasty and just like drop it completely, then 137.22 can be my weekly goal. But either way it goes, if we break 154.08, which is this level here, I'm going to get into the 150 puts and I'm just going to ride them down. All right. If we break back above this channel, like I said, for upside for calls, what I'm looking for is 162.14 to hold. I would love to see a candle start above 162.14, kind of sort of like how here. This is actually a great example here. This candle here. We started right above 162.14 here, and guess what? We shot all the way up to test the top of that trend here, or the top of that channel. We still reject it down, but you understand what I'm saying is if we can get that 162.14 level to hold with the candle starting above it, then I have confidence that I'll be able to get into those calls there. And what the calls I'll be looking for here is the 165s or the 164s. And my weekly high will be the top of this channel. Or if we break through the top of this channel, let's just say we break through the top of this channel tomorrow, then my weekly high I'll be looking for is 175. And what I'll do is I'll scale some of my calls out as we continue to go up to test this 50-day, and I'll just hold on to runners. Guys, the number one way you compound your gains is holding on to runners. If you bought 20 contracts and you're up 1,000% on them, you don't have to sell them all. Hold at least one because that one can go another 2,000%. And it's just making up so much extra money that you leave on the table by always selling your whole position, guys. So that's another great thing that I'm looking at here with Meta, guys. As you can see clear day, it's currently in this channel here, guys. We're bouncing, we're bouncing, we're bouncing. But like I said, just to reiterate what I said before, I like that every time we test the bottom of this channel, we bounce back up to at least test the top of it. So now coming into Friday, we actually rejected and we bounced right off of that channel. So in my mind, if we can recapture 162.14, I have no doubt that we can go test the top of this channel again this week. Hopefully that we break through and we go try to capture this 50-day here around 175. That's Meta, guys. The stock I'm going to be looking at here moving on is Ford. We're looking at Ford here. Ford broke out of a downtrend that was going on forever. Since about early 2020, we was in that downtrend on Ford. And Ford broke out of that downtrend, and I mean with a lot of strength and a lot of power. Look at this volume here, guys. It's just, oh my goodness, it's ridiculously strong. So for Ford, what I would like to see here, guys, when we normally get these big spike up like this here, I don't normally just jump into a call here. Like, you know, if we go up some more, I don't jump into a call. What I like to do with stocks like this here, I like to do retests, right? I like to buy in the demand zone and not in the supply zone, right? Or I just like to buy on a pullback. It just makes me comfortable to buy into that pullback. So what I'll be looking for on Ford here, which had an amazing breakout here, I want to see if we can get a pullback to this 414.47 level here, or if we can get a pullback even here to 1376. I'll even love this pullback, 1376, for a bounce up. Now we do have that gap here, which is a little scary, but like I said, the strength in Ford is just undeniable here. These are my ranges on Ford at the high 1774 and at the low 1251. That means if we reject here and we come down and we break under this 1376 level, my low for that week will be 1251. And then we'll be on our way heading back down to test this trend here, guys, this falling trend. But I like Ford. I normally don't consider myself a bear or a bull. I normally just play what's in front of me. But Ford looks extremely bullish coming into this week. Ford, like I said, it's been trading on a downtrend for a long time. Even before this bear market even started, Ford was already trading down heavily. So I can see Ford getting a nice little recovery here, guys. We're also testing this 200-day here at 1475. We're kind of a little bit under it. So if we can capture that 200-day, then it's going to be a psychological pin in a lot of people's head that, okay, this is extremely bullish, and they're going to start seeing you're going to start seeing a lot of buying pressure step in, and that's exactly what I'm looking for here. But what I would really love on Ford, guys, if you're looking to take Ford calls, what I'm looking for is to take the $15 calls. But I would love to get this retest here at 1447 or even 1404. You know, I'm not picky. I would love either one of these retests here for a bounce. And when I say a retest, I mean that we reject here off this level, but we don't fall under these levels, right? We get that bounce off of these levels to the upside, and that's when I'll enter my $15 calls. And my target for those $15 calls will be 1498, 1514, 1522, 1556, and 1569, and so on and so forth. You guys see it all the way up to when we break the top of that channel for me. Now, if we can't sustain and we just break under this 1447 and we break under this 1444, what would be a good put zone for me is if we can't sustain this 1376 level. Now, if we break under this 1376 level, what I'm going to look for is to get into the $12 puts, and my first price target at that point will be 1318, 1280, 1272, 1264, and then 1251, which is the bottom of that channel. And that's Ford, guys. But I really like Ford to the upside this week, but I don't trade with a bias. I trade what's in front of me. So whatever the market decides to give me, I will tweak it, I will plan it, and I will trade it. All right, so let's look at the next stock here that we're looking at here. What is SIGA? So monkeypox, guys. I may or may not be holding positions in these stocks already, so that's just a disclaimer there. SIGA, I actually alerted SIGA to my channel when it was uh, way down here, like $7 a share, and I told them like, hey, this stock is going to be $30. You know, monkeypox, and basically what I told them was monkeypox is going to be the new COVID, right? It's a virus or a disease that came from nobody knows, and right now there's really no way to get rid of it. And also, we just declared it a national disease across the land here. So that's another thing to keep in mind that now it's really broadened now, guys. And we have our first official death for monkeypox. So what we saw here was SIGA was actually selling going crazy here, guys. Since May, it just kind of got legs and it just never stopped. And I think this was when we first got our first news alert about it. You know, SIGA monkeypox, and a lot of people didn't really know what the stock was. But when I saw the pictures of what the monkeypox looked like, I ran to my team and I'm like, hey guys, this is going to be like the new COVID. So let's just buy some leaps on it, right? It's $7. It's less. It's so small right now. So let's just buy some leaps because what's going to happen is this stock is going to explode. It may not happen now. It may not happen a month from now, but this stock is going to explode. So let's go ahead and position ourselves in some leaps. So we took the $30 leaps, and we just been gaining, guys. We just been making money on this stock for a long time now here. And what we saw here coming into Friday, we saw that they did a massive, massive sell off here, right? We dropped all the way from 22.18 all the way down to 13.41. That is a massive sell off. That's more than almost 75% of the gains that it made from coming up here. So did we sell our positions? No, we scaled some positions out and we still kept some runners because what happened is we see that SIGA actually regained the top half of this uptrend channel. We broke under it, which would have been nasty because as you see, every time we hit this line here, we will reject until we finally got that push above. And once we got that push above, we have never came back down to retest this trend line here. But when we got this rejection here, that trend line came back relevant. So what I'm looking for here is SIG is currently sitting on the 50 fib here at 1717. What I'm looking for here is if we can get a retest here of this trend line around 1580, anywhere between 1580 and 16. And because it's a diagonal trend, you kind of have to give it a range, guys. You just can't say 1579 because what happens if we bounce here and then we come and test it here, and now it's no longer 1579. The bounce zone is 1718, or if it bounced here, it's 1792. So it's because it's diagonal. The price of the bounce can always change because it's an up. It's just keep bouncing here. So what I'm looking for here is to see if we can actually break back under this fib, get a retest here of 1587 and a hold. If we can get that hold, then what I would like to do here is we'll probably scale in some more contracts. We'll add some more 30s here right above 1717. But what we'll like to see is a confirmation, which means a candle starting above this 1717 level to go test this 1847. We're already up about 340, 360% on these already. So I mean, we're not hurting on this pullback at all, guys. But this is an interesting stock, and I just wanted to tell you guys about it for the people that's going to watch it. I would definitely, if I were you, I would buy some leaps on this, guys. This is a stock that's going to explode, in my opinion. I think it's not going to stop in the short term. I really don't. I really see SIGA testing, 20, 30, possibly $40 a stock, man. And that's probably just the beginning of SIGA. But in the short term, I can see, 20, 25, 30 for sure. Now, what happens with SIGA, which is interesting, if we do break up under this uptrend here, my first target here will be 1603, 1535, 1458. And now what happens is we start to test these EMAs here, guys. We start to test the 50s, we start to test the 100s, we start to test the 200s, we start to test the 20s. So then that's when you can start looking at these here as potential resistance or support zones where you want to see a bounce or whether you want to see a rejection. So that's SIGA, guys. It's not much to the chart, but I really love it. I love it, and I believe that everyone that's into this stock and everyone that has bought this stock, I do believe that you guys are still early. I do believe you guys are still early to this stock here. So that's SIGA. The next stock we're going to look at here is Hertz. Now, Hertz is just like Ford, guys. It looks, man, when I say extremely bullish, it looks extremely bullish to me, guys. Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous, right? So just like Ford, guys, where I say I would like to see a retest, I don't necessarily like buying stocks at the top. That's not my thing, right? Because we're here and just say, the market opens up and we push up higher, I'm going to be looking for a retracement, guys. I want to see a pullback to this 2063 zone here where we bounce. And then if we break this channel here, guys, which I believe we can this week, my zones is 2437 at the high or 1688 at the low. And if we break 1688, then we're going to test this down level of this trend line here, guys. But as of right now, Hertz is extremely bullish, and I like it a lot actually. For a company that was just declaring bankruptcy over a year ago, they actually had a nice bounce back, guys, in this market. So what I'm looking for Hertz, once again, this is my plan of action. I'm looking for a pullback to around 2063, and I want to actually see that level hold, guys. If I can't get the 2063 pullback, then I like a pullback 2072, 2098. But the primary one for me would be 2063. I try to stick with my goals and I try to stick with my plans. So 2063 is my pullback range for me that I would like to get on Hertz here. And I would like to see a candle pull back, but hold support at this level. And if we get that bounce here, what I would do is I will wait. I will wait here until we break the high of day from Friday, which is 2060. And if we break that high of day, then what I'll do is I'll grab some $22 calls and I'll see if we can break this top channel here. If we can't break this top channel, then in my mind, we're going to come back and retest this 2063 zone. And if that doesn't hold, then things can kind of get nasty on the pullback here. We can kind of go retest the bottom of this channel. Just looking here since this channel started, guys, you see we had a retest here. We always bounced, and then we held that 200-day here and we bounced. Then we started holding the 50 here for a while. And that's when we ended up going to the top of that channel, but we ended up rejecting it. And we came back down, even rejecting the 200-day. We still quite didn't hit that trend line, but we got close enough to see where, that volume started picking up here. And we got a bounce here. But the thing about it, the volume wasn't sustainable. It wasn't constant. So what happened was we got a bounce for a minute, but we still couldn't capture the 200-day. And once we actually did capture the 200-day here for this small portion here, we actually couldn't capture the 50-day, which still sent us back down, guys. And then we came back down to test it again, and ever since then, we've just been rejecting that 200-day until we finally broke above it. So what I like is that we're above it. We're above all EMAs, and we have this 50 fib here at 2063. So like I said, my plan is the retracement of 2063 for a pop to the upside. 2202 would be my first price targets will be 2202, 2258, 2356, and then I'll see if we can go test the top of this channel here at 2437. So that's Hertz, and Hertz, even on the flow, looks extremely bullish, guys. So I almost, like I said, I never trade with a bias, so I'm never going to say I'm bullish or bearish on this stock. I will play what's in front of me, but what I do like about Hertz is that it's breaking out extremely nice from where it was last year. Um, and I love it. I love it, guys. I think Hertz can keep going. Same with Ford. So that's Hertz, guys. The next one we're going to look at here is AMC. So AMC, once again, guys, remember I told you about that 1551 level last week for my apes. What you want to see here, guys, you're still kind of sitting on this 50 fib here. You're like right above it a little bit here. So what you want to see here is you want to see a capture of this 1551. So for me with AMC, I wouldn't even take a call on AMC until we break 1551. That's just important for me, guys. And once we break 1551, then I'll be able to throw some levels on it and see where we can go. But until AMC breaks 1551, I'm not interested. I'll still look for puts. And the only reason why I'm talking about AMC because I actually posted on Twitter for people to comment certain stocks that they would like for me to talk about in my YouTube videos. And AMC was one that came up a lot. So that's just AMC, guys. AMC, I will look for this 1551 level. It's so huge, guys. And I told you if we rejected that level, that we would continue to come down. And I mean, that's just what happened. We rejected the level and we just could not get it back above it. So that level will be like my call entry for me for AMC 1551. If we can't capture that, then I'm just not interested. So let's look at ChargePoint, guys. ChargePoint was another one that was a request on Twitter here. ChargePoint is absolutely looking beastly right now, if I had to say so. We're actually getting this retracement here back to this 50 fib, setting up just the way I love it, guys. Now, I may or may not hold a position in ChargePoint already, just to throw that disclaimer out there. But we are getting this retracement here to this 50 fib, just like I like at 1462. And like I say all the time, what I would like to see here is this fib here hold as support. And if we hold that as support, the next price target for me will be the bottom of here, 1493, and then 1528, and then 1541, and then we test the top of these trends here at 1570 to go test this 200 day at 1626. Now, if we can capture this 200 day here, I have no doubt in my mind that we break out of this channel at 1669 from a lot more upside. Keep in mind, we do have a beautiful gap here in the $18 level from about 1898 to 1949. So a nice, beautiful gap. Remember, we talked about ChargePoint last week, and I told you that it came back down into this falling wedge here, which became a pennant. And I told you it got really tight. And what happened was we bounced and we bounced and we finally broke out of that pennant to the upside. So I like ChargePoint. I will be looking at it to the upside this week coming in. Like I said, I may or may not hold a position already. But I am looking for more upside here on ChargePoint to see if we can capture that 200 day. Also, just note that there's a lot of money flowing into energy. There's a lot of money flowing into consumer discretionaries. There's a lot of money flowing into consumer staples. You have to follow the money, guys. And ChargePoint energy is getting a lot of hits right now. So I can see ChargePoint having a recovery. And if ChargePoint have a recovery, you can look at Blink, which is BLINK. You can look at Blink. So yeah, guys, that's it, man. ChargePoint. So we looked at Meta, we looked at Ford, we looked at SIGA, we looked at Hertz, we looked at AMC, and lastly, we looked at ChargePoint, guys. I'm excited about the opportunity this week has to bring. Guys, hold your biases aside and trade the price. I know a lot of things don't make sense. And last week I found myself with a bias as well, thinking that we was going to get a rejection, and we just kept legging up. So if I can tell you anything to encourage you as an option trader, guys, trade the price and not your bias. The price will always allow you to win. Your bias will always cause you to lose. All right. So this is Goatman. This is episode 2, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Goatman out. Peace, love, and blessings to everybody. Thank you.